It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose. But by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque, then in the same church, in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but we star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome everyone to the 40th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It is Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. I'm your host, Rick Crammond, and once again, we are joined with Caroline Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and I'm sure she's ready to go for today's activities. So without further ado, let's begin. Caroline, are you there?
Yes, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I am present, Rick, and most probably a lot of other people are present. But if they're not yet, they will walk in. Some people are still at work, and we'll see when their time is there to come and share their knowledge. How can we start today? Does anyone have any questions? Or do we have some information that some of us have noticed in the news or on public domain that they would like to share with us so that we can see where we can improve or change or add to the knowledge?
Well, certainly we see some interesting things going on the world scene as far as look at North Korea and the interaction with the U.S. and so on at this time. We have North Korea and South Korea seem to be coming together and hugging each other. We see pictures all the time of the leaders of those countries hugging each other and smiling and saying they're coming together. And we have the US and North Korea have decided, well, at one point, they decided to get together for a conference, a peace conference, and work out their things. And then suddenly that conference was canceled, and because they were talking too roughly to each other, apparently. And then now it's kind of, well, we'd like to have the conference. Trump is saying, well, we'd actually like to have the conference if we can, and so on. So we have this back and forth sort of thing. It seems to oscillate between language like it's World War III, and then language like we're buddy buddy and let's talk peace and get together. It's a very strange time, I think, that we live in that way. How could we have such extreme divides and extreme opinions all within the same week, basically? So this to me is quite astounding, but it is so encouraging to see that there is this push for peace, that there is a strong wish amongst most countries of the world and most leaders of the world, it seems, to have.
Rick, isn't
Mhm.
that the will of the people? The will of the people
Yes, yes,
is
exactly.
interacting with the leaders of their government, and that is why I see so much swings, is because we have so many people that are saying yes, finally for peace, yes, we want peace, and then we have the other side that is, let's call them, greedy, and they are pushing really hard on the other side, on the physicality side, on the so you have conflictions in the governments because of the people.
Yes, good point. That's what I would sum it up as. So we have the will of the people versus the will of the, let's say, the previous leaders that would prefer to have things go in a warlike manner, and that's not acceptable anymore. So this is the sort of the big battle that seems to be playing out in our on our planet. Anything else you can say about that, Vince?
Well, I was, the there's more people every day on this planet, right? More people every day, but there's also more people that are experiencing things that show them that there's a different way to do things, different way to think, peaceful way to think. I think a lot of people wake up, and this is what happens when they do, is they they emanate that wish for peace through themselves, and the more people that wake up and do that, the more people that feel that, they wake up. So we have a wave of peacefulness coming over us, because people are waking up and saying, I want peace. I do not want war. And I wish for peace. And when they wish for peace, that is when we start to hear it.
Well, that was a good, clear way to put it, I think. Thank you. Anybody else with a comment on that situation or some other thing they'd like to bring up, as Caroline noted earlier? Okay, well, have a sip of coffee and think about it then. Caroline, need some help here.
I'm was waiting. I was waiting for this, but that's not a problem because
I tried.
people just are walking in. But wouldn't it be more appropriate to put it in a different daylight? That if you listen, and I'm just quoting what is in the news so you all can hear it, you can all go and analyze it. Because I'm keeping an eye, but as I always said, I listen. I hear every single word when I'm there to observe what is going on. You got to listen to the different messages. In China, they are presenting a lot of new knowledge is coming in. They're talking openly about it. Then you have the meetings, which are again in public. President of United States is going to meet with Abe from Japan before the summit. The president from North Korea is going to meet with President Xi before the summit. South has brought a new mediator. So there is a new person which will try to balance the energy on the table of the meeting. So they are, in a way, saying what they have as conversations behind the scenes without actually going into public. But if you listen to it, it's right in the open. So they are indicating why they're going to have this meeting anyway. So it's the ones which have more interest to bring new knowledge and to go on world peace, as China has really gone public with this One Belt, One Road to connect in a peaceful way. And they have mapped it out. There is we call it blueprint from it. It's getting really worked hard in the background and in public on it. But you have to learn to start connecting the dots, as I'm trying always to explain. When you make a wish, you got to make sure everything is in it. I tried to show you last week, when you see the news in front of you and you listen to what is said and you read what is underneath, it doesn't add up. So then you have to go to different channels if you really want to be aware what is going on without getting distracted by all the rest. It doesn't take much time. It's 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there. I don't sit for hours to go. I just butt in, and at certain moments of times you see it appearing. So President Xi in public has announced, because they translated, I think it was in BBC or on CNN or on Fox. I can't keep, and for me it doesn't matter where, but I'm following those main channels to see where the direction goes. So President Xi is announcing so many new knowledge that is going to come up into public. And then you suddenly see all the sides going calm, and they actually are changing the whole way, as they said they have those discussions in public, and they say it's like, he never said it. It's like the summit is just gonna take place as there was never not being cancelled. But you got to listen to what is going around and how people, where they pick up little information from the people because they have debates about it. I listen. So they are quieting one another down because they're very much aware, as Mr. Keshe has always said in public, every government is sitting and listening. And every government is more than aware that the knowledge is there, and that is not a ghost, and that is not a dream, and that is not theoretically but practical. It's working. He brought quite a few times the reminding people that the drone was taken down, the ship had nothing nowhere, it had to be pulled in. The satellite that was about to take off exploded in midair. So Mr. Keshe makes sure that this stays in a public platform to make people aware what is really going on. And then you see they are all reconsolidating their position. Remember we said about that picture, Rick, where the text in white appears on the right side or on the left side, depends on which side you look at the picture. Man will not accept this knowledge because of the love of it. That's where it starts coming to the point of understanding this text. We need to make sure people don't need to be afraid from it. As we figured it out quite a few sessions before, we're going to need more people. We're going to need more skilled people. We're going to need to train people. We're going to be short hands. Because if people are going to start leaving the planet, somebody's going to have to take care here and stay behind. They're not all going to leave. And I hope not all the scientists are going to start leaving. So we're even going to have to be very careful in that topic that they're not all going. Because we still have to have people here which will be necessary in certain key positions, even if it is in the science or in communication or whatever, to take care of the balance and keep it balanced here. I did a call last Wednesday in my private teaching. I explained that if we all understand the blueprint of the MAGRAF, but go step by step from the beginning to the end, it was 1 week. It's a lot of knowledge. But the main knowledge sat when Mr. Keshe said, you make your first MAGRAF and you give it away. And then you make your second one, and that's the one you start using for yourself. Now, if you all know and understand that for it to work, it's the same principle as when you use zinc on one side of your wall, CO2 on the other side of the wall, but on the same wall, and on the opposite wall, you put CH3 to create the dynamic of the fields. Because we all know they're working like this. We have to create a dynamic. So if you have given the first MAGRAF away and you have made the second MAGRAF yourself, then you know that the third is you. Which then, because of the two, you create a dynamic. If you all understand what Tom Salas has brought in dimension of the oasis, and that was only based on CO2 gas waters, the mother and the son, watering the whole garden to nourish the plants and the environment, just on Gans waters. And we all seen the results, because the Gans waters were given. Now, they were given from both of them. Now, Tom was in Mexico the time of the hurricane. He was not there. So he still had the dynamic connection with the mother, the Ganses, because she was not there present. She was on the island, but further away. And Tom on very, very far away. And they still were in connection with one another, that this field of the oasis was in place. And it's still there. But now maybe you understand the dynamic 2 to 1. 2 in the front, 1 in the back. 2 in the back, 1 in the front. 2 on the left, 1 on the right. The same with the explanation, maybe now people understand. You give 1 away and you plug 1 in yourself. You're number 3. You're the dynamic of the 2. But at the same time, it had to come with the intent of giving, that you can create the correct flow, the right dynamic. I could not make all these points of connecting at that given time. I was working simply with what you give, you receive more. The more you give, the more you receive. But that's the whole principle of the dynamic. And I can take a lot of examples, but you all knowledge seekers will see the picture in a different way. Now you have the star formation, you have so many things. Doesn't matter what you have made. Gans water, paint pen, Magraph system, car unit, it doesn't matter. If you are really and truly giving 1 away, and if you have done, and if you haven't, I don't think nobody has given something from them away. If it's Gans water or paint pen, something has been shared. Now, if you're aware of that dynamic, and you can imagine the dynamic of the oasis from Tom Salas on Dominica, now you can imagine how you have created, each one of you, such a huge oasis. The only thing, and this came in one of the teachings quite a few months ago, I repeated it. He said, the Gans waters need to go into the rivers, the oceans, the fountains, which we have done. And he explained that is to reach the souls which don't have no connection with, let's say, our side or our way of living. You will reach them through your field strength. That's why I requested continuously to release the waters. It has been done abundantly by so many knowledge seekers. Now, if you understand that that giving of that CO2 water or whatever it was, it's the giving part, but you connect consciously with it, and you know to where extent your connection has traveled, you can connect with each one of them. But because now you're aware of the dynamic, now you can be in your intent. And Mr. Keshe said, now let's see who truly wants peace. But that can only be achieved if we don't focus on wars, if we don't focus on poverty, if we don't focus on certain isolated conditions on this planet, it will only work if we focus to unity and the totality on this planet, plus Mother Earth and our planetary system included, and we are belonging to universe. Because usually when we work, we have given it to another human being or an animal or in the garden. It's okay, it's beautiful. But now we have to direct these fields by connecting one with another. Find the knowledge seekers you know, which are not in public platform, but connect with them through your soul level, through your intent. If you can communicate with them, ask them to come and listen to the teachings, to the presentation, for them to understand. They can connect on Facebook. I have opened the Universal Council chat room only for this purpose. Jalal, Danimo, and people from the education team, they will start informing. We are just waiting for more and more people to come in to start only on the level of this explanation which I just gave, to connect consciously, knowing one another, understanding the property of the oasis system you already carry when you have created any of this. But the most important thing is, if we want world peace and we want to balance everything, we're going to have to work for unity. Remember when I said to Mr. Keshe, there are so many souls crying. Why is there no change? And he said, yeah, this is easy. I thought he didn't understand me. I asked him the same question again. He said, yes, because they don't work for unity. They don't work for more, for giving, for all. They're only wishing for a few or for themselves, but never for everything, because we're all part of the totality. So if we can, with what we have seen and the way we have signed the World Peace Treaty, now it's time to connect through the understanding, the full understanding, to connect the knowledge seekers one with another, and then connect with more, that the fields of the oasis system, which we have seen from Tom Salos, that it can appear, it will start giving its light. But it's going to go global as well, because we are all over this planet. But we all have to be able to understand that we have to work in the same direction. And I hope we have reached that platform of understanding how the dynamics is working. We all know how to nanocode. We all know how to make ganses. And in all the stages of the development, whatever Mr. Keshe has taught, he has taught us the soul level. Now he's been going in very high speed about the space flight. He even has explained how you can and what points you have to be careful with. But through the whole sequence of how we are achieving the platform, now it should be easy to make sure that we connect with the full understanding that we carry this kind of oasis system already with us. Now it's only a matter of going global, which means we are going to indulge the whole planet. It will light up the same as we saw with Tom Salos. And the faster we understand or make the people which are not there yet the full understanding of the sequence of events, how we can achieve it. It might take a while, but we need to start communicating with one another that they understand the dynamic. One gives, then he places himself, then he himself is the dynamic of the two, which means it starts. Whoever you have given or taught, you don't need to remember everything. You just need to know how to position yourself to link up with it. Because you got the field strength, you got the intent, but don't go only for humanity or only for the plants or only for, you got to go for the totality. Because each soul is equal. Even our planet, if she wasn't there, she wasn't born, she didn't start, or the sun or the moon or the others, we would not be here because they have created the conditions for us to appear here. As much as we are receiving from the higher field strength, as Mr. Keshe explained, that we are, now we can balance ourselves. That's why I start explaining you can call up on anything because it's all around you. Your whole environment is one energy field strength. And because you're already applied your ganses in different strengths, now you can start as the main reactor to go for the dynamic, kick-started the right way for then it to go in sequence with all the others. And the more we know from one another, the more we're going to align ourselves into the same beautiful oasis which we have seen from Tom Salas. Remember, he spoke very openly, his mom and him, how they applied, where they applied. And then you see the whole sequence of the understanding is right there, right in front of you. It's through a lot of teachings. Now you can make the connecting points. You can go to the blueprint, especially from the MAGRAPH. It's there. You don't need the generator because your MAGRAPH is already a complete system where you can receive from your ganses, your paint pen, your paint pads, your MAGRAPHs, your star formations. It doesn't matter what you have created. When you work through the dynamic and the understanding that you're the creator and the connection is there, you receive everything you can balance. Because Tom Salas has shown it to you. Nothing was touched. And everything still had its leaves. Everything had the same balanced colors, the flowers, the animals, everything was intact. Like never anything happened there. If we work in the same understanding, what we have as a gift, and we start working with the gift, you will balance yourself so much faster. Don't get spooked about what is going on in public. Just try to understand the signals are all over the world. And Mr. Keshe said, everything is right in front of you. It just needs time of connecting. And we are coming to the point of connecting. And we don't need much words. We don't need much fancy things. We don't need, because you're a knowledge seeker. you know the sequence of how to apply and to be. Just acknowledge how beautiful you are and what is your intent to connect with all the knowledge seekers to go in the same direction. What do you think, Rick?
Sure, that sounds great. How do we in practice put that in place?
People confirming, I have connection with this, and that they can work on the same level, but to share the communication that they have understood everything, that they can come to a place where they can ask questions, that they go and look where they can embrace more knowledge seekers if they are not there yet. To guide them to go to the right direction of application. Once they know how to create the dynamic, they know they create the Oasis system. And to refer, if they don't understand, to refer back to the presentation where Tom Salas came, that they, and if they still have questions, that they know where to go. That's why I opened that Universal Council chat room. They can come, they can ask the questions, they can get the links, so that the knowledge seekers which are present today and in Facebook and in other social medias, that they are aware to share the knowledge, so that other knowledge seekers can come up to their level much faster. It's all about merging our fields in the same direction. And if you see a repositioning of world leaders like this, and then you look at the messages which have gone beside this, then you understand they are aware and they start taking into account what has been taught by Mr. Keshe. That means it's not hidden. And I think we are going to go on a beautiful journey. And it's not that difficult, is it? We will change the whole environment, meaning the same what we saw with Tom Salas. Because the dynamic was there, the intent was there, the giving was there, and then you see the result. So we all can do it. But the beauty is that part of what we have created is already floating around this globe. It's already there. It's just waiting for us to make it one. And then the pulse, or the humans, which keep that dynamic going. You remember that Mr. Keshe said it needs a heartbeat, it needs to be connected to a fridge. And then we saw the beauties coming up, like with Peter Schalker, that his friends made a maggraph for him because he simply didn't have time. He was too busy teaching, he was too busy. And he posted straight away the results and he said, this is amazing. I have to post this out. And this is the reality. They made one, they give it away, they were already plugged in. So their dynamic made sure that, you know, it's not a 2.5 kilowatt system. If you remember what Mr. Keshe has taught, yeah, especially about the Maghraf systems, it releases on demand and it gives unlimited. So whatever you ask, it will give. There is no restriction because it doesn't have a meter. It doesn't have a counter and it doesn't have a bill to be paid that it will stop. It's an unlimited source of giving when the dynamic is correct and when the intent is correct and where it's been given is correct. Then that system, because it's a creation and it carries all the beauties in the understanding of the knowledge of the teaching of Mr. Keshe, the only thing it can do is serve by giving unlimited. So there is no 2.5 kilowatt. That's the restriction that is just imaginary on it. It has no limits because it's a plasma. It's free, but it needs that dynamic, that giving to give so freely. But if you don't demand, it can't give, and if you don't give, it cannot return. If you understand what I'm trying to explain. It's all about all of us. How beautiful are we going to be there in the same position as what you created that can give so beautiful, unlimited. It will transfer earth, my God. It will transfer so many conditions. It will just change the same as, I cannot use any better, beautiful example like that 1 hectare of Tom Salas. We've seen it in agriculture, in small tests. We've seen it in health in different ways. We've seen it in pain reduction. We've seen it in the garden changing, birds coming, animals coming, behaving different. We have noticed, and if you want to know more, go to the testimonials. Now, with all this information and all the explanation through the teaching, if we apply it, you have no limit. Because there is nothing to contain it. Giving unconditionally. And because we have been working on so many wishes, and we have been working and signing the World Peace Treaty, and we've been in so many different topics of teachings and understanding, we know it works. We know it can be done. It's just now we have to do it together. Because if world leaders are already changing their mind a few weeks before such a huge meetings, something is changing. Our field strength of what we are creating and what our intent is, and our field strength is positioning itself. Without being focused, whatever happens, it all comes back to what do you decide as a knowledge seeker? Where are you taking your position point to be the giver, the creator? I think it's time that the knowledge seekers go and spread their connections and bring them on board in the full understanding how we can achieve this in all in one, for one. And ideas and sharing knowledge will be more than welcome. Especially suggestions on how we're going to unify the knowledge seekers. How are we going to inform them how to link up with one another? Because if you remember, Rick, when I was asking for knowledge seekers in Canada and in the States to start coming forward, that we know where they are.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's time that we have an open sharing, no holding back, but kickstart the connections. And we only need to connect the field strength and the understanding. That's all we need to do. And we are about to even create a Zoom platform to work on it. But only people which are gone through the security can take part on that level. That's why I started in Facebook. Because we are in a friendly way or inviting people to come in as students, to come in to be registered, that we can go more in a secure way to work and communicate with one another without them being open and exposed if they don't want to. If they have no problem, we work in the two. But our advice is to come in as a student so that we can give you feedback, although we do the same on Facebook, because that's the most easiest tool for a lot of knowledge seekers to work in. We are trying to connect on different levels, but with the same knowledge of what have you understood, where can we support you to make that dynamic system with whatever you have managed that you have created. It's not because you don't have a MAGRAPH, and it's not because you don't have a star formation, or you have the reactors, or you don't have a paint pen, but you have the GANS waters. We're all equal because we carry the fields, we carry the understanding. It's us which have to connect as creators that will do the job. And Mr. Keshe always said, you've all been playing with all the knowledge. Now it's time for you to put the purpose for what you have created or what you're about to create. Give it the purpose. I think that is the best purpose we can create for whatever we are going to share or we're going to make. So any ideas, Rick or Vince or anyone?
Okay, I can remind the attendees here in the Zoom that they can put their hand up and I can allow you to speak, or you can become a panelist either way. So to be clear, Caroline, you're suggesting that people can become KF SSI students and can partake in a platform regarding some of the things we've been talking about today. Is this like a new, would that be in the private teachings, or is this in a separate group from the
No, the educational board will take care of that, make that kind of platform to be available. So whoever is student and known in the foundation will be already on that platform. We're just making more awareness for the people which haven't applied for that status to come in. They're welcome. It's easier for the foundation to work with. And we still are carrying on our public platforms like Facebook and wherever we are working on social media. But I think the call should go out to know the knowledge seekers, to make them comfortable, to be aware that it doesn't matter what they have managed and obtained in knowledge, because Tom Salas showed us the path. It's now the understanding to complete it. We are, and I've noticed in the last week on Facebook, a lot of people start posting their work. They have no problem anymore. Not anymore as, let's say, last year or 2 years or 3 years ago, where they had to be on their guard. They're posting more and more and more and more, so the time is right. But now it's to make the right understanding that it doesn't matter what you have obtained. Now it's to create the purpose for what it can serve and how it can serve. Now this understanding should be going into the teachings on the different language topics, and our teams will be there. And the ones definitely which are present today, the knowledge seekers, will be able to support the understanding. It's very simple. Doesn't matter what you have. Create the dynamic, create understanding, and share that understanding with all the knowledge seekers which you are in touch with, so that we can connect, but that we go into understanding the purpose, what we want. Once that purpose is solidified and understood by all the knowledge seekers, now we're all going in the same direction, who knows what will show. And then we have at the same time all our wishes, which we have worked on, all of us, since last year, and they're still there and they're still carrying out. We will see more shift of energy. Don't connect with the results. Do not get distracted with what happens outside the box, as we say. Keep your target of what the purpose is. You know you create, you are a creator. Connect. Because that's one thing I have noticed as well. People are all showing their beautiful work. For some, it's serving a purpose, like animals, gardens, plants, environment, health. But if we go to that higher state of understanding to serve the totality, then we have the purpose for it to serve from all of us. So I encourage people to go networking, connecting, because now they have a message that they can get across and say, this is the purpose. Now you know, don't stop, carry on, but now you know the purpose for what it can serve and how we can serve the whole planet and beyond. Because the only thing we all have noticed is that it is increasing the plasma field strength. And Mr. Keshe said, once you change the field strength, you change the physicality, which means the birds will stop, the lions will change. He explained it. But also humanity will go peaceful. And I think that is our best purpose to serve. Because then the animals, the plant world, the whole planet, the whole universe where we are will go peaceful. Not just to focus on a part which is there and a part which is there, or a part which is suffering there, or they have this problem or that problem. No, but to just go and override all those and just go for all. By just connecting our knowledge with the field strengths which we have made, and for that purpose to serve. And then we are going to remove a lot of doubts among a lot of people and among a lot of knowledge seekers. Because that purpose to serve will stand out like the wish which Mr. Keshe has created by releasing this knowledge was to achieve world peace. So anybody with any ideas how we can get across and how to get this understanding of the purpose to go out is more than welcome to come and share. I'm going to go quiet now.
Did you call my name?
Yes. When I go quiet, you start.
Okay. I will share with you the idea, what we're going to make. And I would like your support because we are one. It's very simple. Making, teaching, connecting. And if you find this, I connected to empty cache. Making, we are gonna make a simple maggraph. Very simple. It's not complicated, not very big. Very simple. Anyone with 1 meter wide, he can do it. So, because it have a purpose. And the purpose is peace. And everyone see and do, he will already connect, even if he is not doing it. Only when he's watching live what we are doing and connect all the wires, he is connect with us. When we put the ganses, he is with us. So even if he don't have any equipment to do any maggraph, he have already the maggraph, as Caroline said. He's only need to connect. So this is the idea. We make a small workshop. All of us join in this. And even if you have a maggraph, leave this one. Do this new maggraph if you can do, and you need to do 2 of them in the same time because it's very easy. It will not take much. And as a knowledge seekers, as Karen said, we all have the nano-coated wires and the ganses. We only need to put it together. And we light, even we don't need to put it to the grid. We make Alex speeds, we make little capacitors, and it's working without the grid. You don't need the grid because it's not generator, it's not power plants, it's nothing. It's universe. It's bigger than that. What do you think? And we connected to our aim. Our aim is peace in whole universe, and it will connect itself with each of one of us. I don't think the idea is very complicated. It's very easy, and to do it, I think it's very easy. But we need to have the right time, and we open this universal knowledge gathering, and this one will stay forever connected. And whenever we have a wish, everyone and each of us have this box of wishes. This one is special because our intention, it's in it, and it will serve its purpose until we go to the next steps. And this steps is very quick. We are going in. So what do you think, guys? If anyone have another idea to add to it or a different way to approach, you are very, very, very welcome.
If I may suggest.
How much you pay?
I said, if I may suggest.
Okay.
Maybe next Tuesday, so people have enough time to talk, to consolidate, to get their material, and to be present by next Tuesday.
Yes, we are going to prepare everything before the workshop. Even all the preparation, we are going to put it. What we need to bring, we will calculate everything, even the containers. Which gases we are making in which container. It's not, it's easy, but it's not easy. We need to calculate everything once in our time. We need to do that. Really calculate if we can go with that. I know plasma do not need calculation and all this things, but let us do it. It is very small. It's not big. It's not 81 turn with 160 turn. No. Any one of you guys who have the knowledge in magraphs, and I think if he turn 27 by 36, it's enough. I think. And if he goes to the smallest wire, 0.8 or 1, it's even enough. But we need the plan to work with it. And especially Sandor, he have a knowledge about the containers. It's very beautiful if you have this Coca-Cola bottle to make it as a container, and we all do it. It's available everywhere. So this is one. We will do it all in one time. This is the beauty. We all doing one thing in one time. So this is my idea. And if anyone have something to take out, to bring in, to add, he's more than welcome. Oh no. 2, 3. Sold.
Okay, how would people communicate about this through the week?
Okay. We have, I think we have this website, the new one, in the Facebook, and the knowledge seekers is already in Zoom. We can also connect and discuss. And every one of us have a lot of viewers in his chat room in Facebook. He can also prepare everything with them. That this day, this is open session for peace. You are making peace in your hand. You don't need anyone to make it for you. That is the aim. I think it's easy to do it. And I think it's time to act. Share and let the people do it with you, even if he is not doing it. Just if he is looking for what you are doing, he's already in his emotion, in his real peace, because the peace is inside him. The love is inside him. You need to just move it in him. And we are more, we have the strength more than him. So we will shake him in this way, in peaceful way. He will react. And if I have in my group, let's say 10 people who is watching, anytime I am putting this device in front of me and we are making wishes or something, even if they are at work or they are sleeping or wherever they are already connected to this magraph. You see the beauty in that, guys. It's not that he must do it in his hand. No. Only if you bring him inside this workshop, he's already connected. I think the whole human being is now connected from all this teaching. The soul is connected. So what do you think, guys?
Well, it sounds good to me, Jalal. And perhaps someone can put the link in the chat for the Facebook group that you're speaking of, and I can spread that around.
And it's not candle. It's not candle. It's sun of peace. All the time is shining. All the time, day and night. You don't need to put it to the grid. You don't need to put it to the grid. Only gases in it and finished. It's already connected. If we make the same time the gases, in the same time we wind, or the same time we connect, finish. We have the connection.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, everybody. This is Estela. I would love to do it, but I'm gonna speak from my being. I'm still considering myself a newbie, putting all the components together. For someone who, you know, I've been doing with the baby steps, but when you have to, you know, to do the coils, and in the latest classes where we really, Mr. Keshe showed to us how the importance of how to do the connections, and that explanation is very important. And I think this is a good instance to really do like a update of the main subjects we've been discussing in the last, I would say probably since we started to talk about the soul and everything, because and then kind of we went back, you know, they're talking back into the all the elements, but a little bit deeper. And for someone like me, I get lost. And even if they talk too fast, or it's kind of hard to see in a video, you know, to do the right connections, or even to do the coil within the coil. It's almost like, for me, I would love to have someone next to me to show me, and then I can do it. Sometimes with the screen it's too difficult, at least for me. So I don't know if I just would like to do it right. You can put intentions, but
Estela,
yeah.
we are not making a full magraph system, darling. If you already have managed to make the GANS water, you are as equal as carrying a magraph system. The whole topic of this is whatever you have achieved, whatever you are achieving, is to make the purpose clear for us as humanity to serve everything. It's the purpose, not just something that, as I explained before, if I go right and you go left and the one behind me goes backwards and the one in front of me goes forward, we are not going towards the same destination. It's trying to get the knowledge seekers to understand, to create the purpose of the destination. The purpose of the destination is that you know exactly, clearly where you're going, no matter from where, what you have achieved. Once you're part of the Keshe Foundation family, everything and everyone with whatever knowledge they have acquired is equal. So don't feel that you're not up to, or you didn't understand, or it is above. That's not the point. The point is to unify all the knowledge seekers in the same direction of serving the purpose, knowing the purpose for what it can and go and will serve. Your presence, because you are already a universe on its own. You got the gas within you. You got your skin, which is the nano layer. Your presence is already the balance. It's the presence and then your intent to be present. Even if you don't have a single GANs, you are already there. The only thing is to serve, to know how to serve the purpose. Mr. Keshe always says, whatever you make sure you understand for what it will serve what you make. I think now we have a clear idea. It's one sentence of Mr. Keshe. We will achieve world peace. But we have to be present to serve that purpose. We have to aim for the same direction. No more, no less. World peace means every single soul on this planet, planet included, or planetary system and our universe can balance. And that's the only understanding for it to be able to serve. If we acknowledge that purpose to serve, you don't even need to have a single GANs, because if you came to understand that you are the GANs, you are the nano-coated layer, you are the creator, you're part of the totality. Now we have what we say, we have a destination to work to. So the intent of a lot of knowledge seekers partially will be there with the material they will gather to do this open workshop. But it doesn't matter. Your presence is already sufficient enough for it to add to that purpose to serve, which is world peace. And Mr. Keshe said, my wish is my command. And if we're all there in our wish and our command, that's when we're going to create a shift. My calling upon this is there are a lot of knowledge seekers. There is a lot of knowledge. There are more than you can even imagine. Our GANs waters are well spread all over this planet. The purpose why is now to come together in the understanding, even that just our presence is sufficient enough to serve world peace. We can only serve it when we acknowledge that we are present. And I am present.
And we are the peace too.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I'm present. And Estella, see it like this, you understand everything Mr. Keshe says or anybody else says. Every single word you understand. Maybe seen from today's view, from your present view on another level, but you get everything what is being told. And what happens when we are creating macros? What happens when we're creating Ganses or dynamic cores? We are creating souls. And why are we creating these? We create these souls for ourselves to find the strength and the power of our own soul. I think we can see it like this. There are 4 rooms, and all 4 rooms are connected with a door with each other. When we are standing in the first room, this can be our physical body, there is a door to the next room, to the soul of our physical body, soul of physicality. Then there is a door to the next room, to the door, to the soul of emotion, to our emotions. And then there is a door to the next room, which can be the soul. And if we are building these devices and if we are making these Ganses, if we are spinning them around, we're creating souls. And we are making for ourselves a guideline how to open the door from one room to another, from the physical to the soul of the physical, to the emotion, to the soul itself. And it's more or less a red path to our own soul. And whatever you hear, you always understand. And there is no need saying, I did not understand what was just told, because everything is within us. And if we open the door to the last room, the soul, we become aware that we carry God in us, that we carry everything in us, what everybody else carries in him or in her. And the plasma technology is such a beautiful way how to open these doors, one after another. And thank you, Jalal, for this suggestion.
Thank you.
Rick, I have posted a possible wish. You might want to look at that.
I was just looking at that Gatwa as you mentioned it, and was about to suggest to read it.
2 souls, thinking the same.
Thank you for that affirmation. Yes, from Gatwa in the chat. We give through our souls for the Keshe Foundation achievement of universal peace for all souls therein. I have a question for you, Gatwa.
Go ahead, please.
Why did you add the therein? What is the therein? Is it the achievement?
In the universe. But we can edit it out. I meant in the universe, or souls in the universe, because it's achievement of universal souls, universal peace.
Universal peace for all souls therein.
Yes, for all souls in the universe, for all souls in the universe. We can simplify it or make it more direct. But
Right.
it's not like I was repeating the same thing.
Yes, well, the therein kind of works, but I'm not sure what it referred to in terms of the achievement of universal peace, and that for all souls therein. And you didn't mean all souls within the Keshe Foundation, you meant all souls within the universe, the universal peace, basically.
Yeah, yes, I meant in the universe, but we can edit it to make it clear.
Well, like I say, it kind of worked the way it was because it makes you wonder, what is the therein? And is there something that we're trying to enclose that there, you say a therein, that must be a there out as well. Like a, you know,
Yes,
what about the ones that are in the there out? Are they included and so on?
in the other universes.
Yes, right.
I was thinking of, one step at a time, but you can make it
Well, we have to take into
The,
account
one.
all beings everywhere is sort of means everywhere in all universes, I suppose.
those who is connected, they're in because they are connected. Only the connected.
No, everyone. You
Yes,
can't.
because they are connected in the soul. So all the universe, and which universe is connected to our universe, and which us coming from, is all within. It's one package of energy, wherever it goes. One soul. Nice one, Gatwa. Don't change it. It's very
Yeah,
good.
I think we better leave it. It's nice the way it is.
Well, you're calling all the souls. It could be
And
humans, animals, plants, rocks, everything.
yes, and that was intended. That is intended for every soul. Maybe you should change Rick Universal to Unicourse so that there is no within or without.
I wouldn't use that because it's not a universal word and people don't know what it means.
The right one is the first one, Gatwa. You didn't learn that from Caroline?
You have a good point there, Jalal.
And
Thank you.
from Mr. Keshe as well, because he doesn't like to go back and change things that have already sort of been established as far as words go. Once in a while we do, but generally we don't like to change something that's already gone out as such. But on the other hand, we've worked with our public wish and we've modified statements quite a bit in order to get them closer to what we believe is a more universal way of saying things. So, but I won't change it. If you want to put another one in there, Gatwa, then you feel free to do that if you feel like it should be changed.
Okay.
You'll probably get
Okay.
a lot of people
Let me look at it.
one.
Let me look at it, and then
Mr. Gadwa, you spoke from your soul, not from your brain. So
yes, I'm also going to speak from my soul right now.
You can do it more than once and it can be different each time. That's for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Gatwa. The whole purpose of the understanding is that we have a purpose to serve. So anybody who's working on their maggraph systems or on their cores or on their reactors or the star formation or the flight system, now you got a true purpose to serve. And that's world peace. And it was the purpose that was missing. Not just testing for testing, but to really to be present in whatever you create, as Dr. Klaus just came and shared with us, is we are creators. Whatever we create, as I explained last time, each small ball in one of your ganses has the capacity of the sun. So if it is that powerful, you haven't seen your powers yet. You haven't acknowledged your powers. Now, even if we haven't acknowledged them, but we start working in the intent and the direction, and now we have the purpose to serve in whatever you have created so far and what you're about still to create to expand your knowledge, you will see the beauty, because now it will serve the purpose. If you work in the direction of understanding that this is the aim we are going for. Now we have a clear purpose. Because even the flight system, the star formation, whatever, it will serve because it has a purpose to serve. Simply world peace. And Mr. Keshe said, once we come to that level, then man is free to start traveling. So in so many ways, in a hidden way, Mr. Keshe was aiming. You're all there. You're there just about. But you're not there yet. He was emphasizing on knowing the purpose. He was emphasizing the direction, the understanding. So if we are all working in the same dynamic, and we understand we are working on soul level, then man will be set free to start traveling. Because you are about now, by solidifying the understanding, solidifying the direction of the purpose to serve, you will set man free. That's where the flight systems are going to start kicking in. You're going to see the change in your results. Why? Because if you know the dynamic, as I explained just before, and it's from your creating point of view, your intent, you magnify the field strength. So whoever is working on the flight systems, no matter in what direction they're working, if they're going for it to serve humanity and the plant and the animals, whatever is here in its totality, with that wisdom, we're going to receive a shift. As Mr. Keshe said, we go higher and higher and higher in field strength. And we're only going to achieve it when we are all linking up in the right direction of the dynamic to serve one purpose. Because Mr. Keshe said, once that is achieved, man will go traveling in space.
Caroline?
Yes?
I've been thinking about this sense of peace, or being the peace, because when we talk about the peace on the planet, actually what's going on out there is what we have to start from the individual out, because the feels get stronger when you reach peace in within. So my suggestion is to also work not only with intention with whatever everybody's gonna create, but also to master the peace within. I think I lost connection. Oh.
No,
Yeah.
I hear you clearly. I hear you.
So,
but that's the beauty, Stella, that you don't need to use so much effort to come to understand your effort to become peaceful. Because remember what I just said a minute ago or a few minutes ago?
Yes.
When you create the field strength, it changes the physicality. Everything becomes peaceful. Because the field strength becomes sufficient enough, because we all start feeding it, because we know now the purpose, and we'll just link up. It's just like topping up. And the more it gets topped up, it means the more you give, the more you receive. It's that dynamic which people need to understand too. It's an automatic giving, receiving, because Mr. Keshe was very clear about it. He says, the more you give, be ready to receive more, to give more. So if you send peace out for the purpose to serve, then you will receive peace too. That's why he says the physicality will change, the animals will change, the fish will change, the water will change, the trees will change, but also the whole humanity will change. They won't even remember. If we can create that kind of field strength in a very short time, people will walk with arms and knives and guns in their hands, and they won't even know the purpose why they are walking with it. If you understand that strength, that's what you will achieve. But don't target in your thoughts to go for that. We got to go for the target, for the purpose to serve world peace. That means it covers everything. When you cover everything without going for individual changing of positions, your field strength goes higher and higher because it gets added up and added up. And that's where you're going to see the physical change, because it starts from within you, in your direction of your field strength of intent and give. So don't worry if you don't feel peaceful and you're not at peace yet. Don't even bother. Because the minute you understand to serve that higher purpose of the totality will return in field strength to the lower. So you increase your field strength, you can give more to increase the field strength. So where are we going for the purpose for it to serve? Is to the lower field strength. So you automatically increase the field strength, which then appears in the matter state, which is us all in its physical appearance. If you understand that dynamic, which starts from the field strength in the direction of, because now you have a purpose to serve very clear, that field strength can only go growing the more knowledge seekers and the more people of the understanding of the knowledge or the Keshe Foundation, they will link up, because it's like a magnet. And everyone will start feeling much more peaceful. He was very clear in his teachings. Because if you can imagine that just by pouring the waters in the seas and the rivers and the fountains, they are running. He said, you have no idea how much you have washed your ganses through your sink and the sewer systems. It's already covering the planet. It just needs to increase its field strength now, because it never received a clear purpose to serve. We were focusing on the countries, we were focusing on people understanding, we were focusing on the soul understanding, we were focusing on so many things on different levels to get the knowledge to come to one understanding. We need to serve all. Mr. Keshe was emphasizing, he says, you're like little children playing in a sandbox. But where is your purpose to serve for what you're creating? You haven't done that. But I am patient, he says, until you understand. I'll let you play. Now you got the purpose to serve, because now we can, through the understanding of the dynamic, you need to create the dynamic, which means you create the giving, the path of the giving needed to be learned. Now we know those steps. Now can only go higher and higher, but we need to go in one direction. We will cripple ourselves if, let's say, we just take a topic like Israel, or we just take a topic like Afghanistan, or we just take a topic like in the United States. We will scatter our field strength. And because we are so many thousands of knowledge seekers, the faster this information travels to unite them for one purpose only, you can imagine the field strength which we are going to create. But you don't even need to worry about yourself, because it will change the totality, which is the physicality. But it's the path of understanding to be so pure without conditioning, meaning a condition like sending it to Afghanistan, sending it to there, sending it to there. That's scattering, that's putting a condition on it. If we are going for one purpose to serve, which is world peace, there is no conditioning of just changing a few there or a few there or a few there. We are just going for such a huge plasma field, but with the full understanding. Now, then you don't need to worry about an individual which has not achieved peace, because you will achieve it, because we go for all. That's the difference. Because I think if we put it naked on the table, it's not so fair if we are just all wishing and, let's say, working in a wish in the direction of Yemen or Afghanistan or Israel. I don't think it's fair for the ones which are in Bangladesh or now going into the monsoon or in Hawaii with the volcano. It's not fair to them, because if we don't work from the all, we are depriving the others. Why would we do that if we can work for the totality? Simply all. And the field strength can be received from all the knowledge seekers once they receive the message from all of you. The phones, the emails, the Facebook, they should be buzzing after tonight, spreading the message to unite. Without targeting, just for all in equality to balance, because that's how we're going to receive peace. So no worries, individual. Because if I have a little bit more, I will serve a little bit more there. If that one has a little bit more, it will go all in one direction. It took me a while to understand the way Mr. Keshe answered me when I said there are so many souls crying. I said we hear them, we feel them. We feel their pain. all those years, why has nothing changed, Mehran? And he said, oh, that's simple. And I was so shocked with his answer, oh, that's simple. I said, did you understand what I mean? He said, yeah. It's because they never, in their cry, in their wish, they never went for all. They only wished for a few. And in our wishes, if you look at it, a few times we covered the totality. But we walked off again. And then we got sidetracked by Israel. They keep you so busy that you lose your focus point. But it was there all the time. Now we will see, Mr. Keshe said, how truly mankind wants peace. I hear him saying that quite a few times over the years. But if we exclude 90% which is suffering and we go for 10% which is now the attention-seeking department, let's say Israel, we are not balancing the field. We are the same souls crying for a few. But I think it will be fair to balance the animal world as well, because they're eating the bugs and they're eating the worms and we are eating the animals. I think it will be more than fair to balance all. That a cow doesn't need to cry because her calf has been pulled away so that she can carry on producing. The sheep's, we all know. Why going for a few if we can change all? I think that's a much higher purpose to serve and much easier to do. And we can do it.
I am present.
I'm present too, my darling. Don't worry. Be so comfortable and confident that you're a knowledge seeker and that we finally understood the purpose.
The reason why I said that is because I really understand the issue that you want peace. We talk about peace, and then the moment you stop your class and you go back to your life, and it's so easy to get engaged and entangled, and your peace went away. And to keep your balance through the day, and it just to feel like you are what you wish, and not to open my mouth and like I just doing it. Then I want to be like transparent, not like I say something and then suddenly I'm weak and I don't maintain my peace. That for that point of view is like I've been working for a long time since last year. I know I accomplished a lot, but being able to be in the center, not going too happy, too reactive.
It's a journey that will change all of us, and it's the less you worry, the less energy you lose. You can put more into the big pot, as I say. The more we get angry, the more we get frustrated, the more we get agitated, the more we get distracted with whatever news. Simply just reverse, because you're going to save so much energy that you can put into something much more beautiful to serve. That's what people start walking away like. I had the answer straight away from Libby. I don't like to go there. And then Flint said, I don't like to go there because it's too distracting. We lose too much time. We are working on so much more. We want to do so much more. We are transcribing, we are working there. And I said, I do understand. I said, but it is for the people which only have those tools to work with. I said, I don't expect you to appear there because you are aware of what is going on, because they are listening to the teachings, they're getting debriefed by the other teachers or students. I said, but don't get distracted, don't lose your energy. You are so much more powerful if you don't let yourself to get distracted with what's going on, which is pulling your energy down. You can save so much more to be there. I know it's trigger points because we are used to a lot. It's just, you can reset, like you make your Ganses and you make your systems. And especially for all the ones which are testing, they do a lot of resetting, retesting, and then they share their knowledge. But now there's a path open. And I always remember Mr. Keshe said, you will reach the ones which don't even have a telephone or an internet or a television or even heard the word Keshe Foundation, because your fields are traveling around the planet through the waters and they're popping up everywhere. So if you've been the creator of certain Ganses and you release them, then just reconnect with them. As Dr. Klaus said, it's just opening more doors through the knowledge of understanding. But a lot, which Mr. Keshe was in a way, he was correct. He says, what's the purpose of what you're making? Give it a purpose, but now we know. Now we know. So don't worry about, don't feel uncomfortable, be very comfortable. Even if you can only make the first paint pen, whichever came out, was just a straight with one knot on the back, copper, nano-coated. It was doing fantastic work. Then it got perfectionized, but not everybody can learn the twist and the direction. And if they don't get it right, I say, just go back to the first one. It works, don't worry. Because you are the giver. You got to hold the paint pen for the other person. It's your field strength which balances the other one. The paint pen doesn't matter. It's just something you're holding. You just increase the field strength. But the secret should have already been understood through the medical. It's your field strength of your giving, your caring, which is reversing the condition of the other person. And because the other person has requested for your assistance or is allowing you to help him, your field strength is the one who's rebalancing the other person. That's the beauty of the understanding. Just your hand, your touch, your caring, your thoughts are already balancing the other person. That's the magic of the beauty. You are so powerful. The paint pen is you. It's your intent to help, to support, to touch the other person, to release his discomfort. Anybody else wants to share any knowledge?
Well, it occurs to me that Estella mentioned that she's been working for a year to try to achieve this peace, but mankind's been at it for 1,000,000 years to get to this point. So I think another year or two is probably okay in that sense.
It can be achieved much faster, Rick,
Well,
because we got to work all for it. Same direction.
We just married. You accept tomorrow the child. Give me the time.
Thank you, Dr. Gatwa, for your nice wish. Anybody else wants to share?
You are welcome, Carolina, and I am present.
I am present. This is Dean. And I am present with the fact that it doesn't need to take 2 years.
Can you come a little bit closer to your microphone, please? You sound very, very far away.
Let me unplug my headphones. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Blessings, everybody. I am present with the fact that peace needs to happen now. And it doesn't need to take any time because we have everything in place right now in order to see our desires manifest. I look at the physicality, and I've worked in physicality and I've worked in spirit or with soul. And the desire of my soul, my wish, is peace now, that we get to go cross the finish line where peace has been established. And then we get to go forth and both into space and into the space of the physicality that we live upon this beautiful spirit of planets. And I am one who is probably not going to go into space except for excursions, because my place is to work with the planet, the place that I was planted, in order to bring about a restoration and a balance to the planets, and working with the desire and the wish of this foundation combined with mine. I don't think there's any way that we can't make it happen. And I just finished planting a garden, and I'm going to plant some more today. And with that, I'm going to bow out, except to say I am present. I am present for peace. I am present for the wishes that we have put in. I am present with the desires of the release of this technologies and other technologies. I'm just here, and I'm going to keep on working. That's it. And I'm going to mute myself. So blessings and peace.
Okay, thank you. And I think your birds in the background would agree as well. Zane has his hand up, so perhaps we can allow him to talk and see what he has to say. Zane, do you want to go ahead there now?
Sir, thank you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I love y'all very much. Y'all are just the most magnificent entities that could ever have come into my life. You know, I'm having some issues with my soul has come to a point where the love that Mr. Keshe and Miss Caroline and Damien, you, a lot of others have given to us. My soul hasn't felt anything of that extraordinary potential, and I'm kind of, I get overwhelmed with the with trying to get to the point of that level of understanding without crying or going into a deep, like, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm just, it's a lack of understanding. You know, I mean, I've been down a really rough road, and I've achieved a lot. You know, I'm at the point that I'm at right now, as far as all the teachings and everything, is I'm ready to be a love gun, and uh, you know, I'm about to take a step out and try to achieve the impossible. Well, for me, what the impossible would be, and the pretty much the wish of Mr. Keshe and the foundation. And uh, I really appreciate y'all for everything. I mean, truly everything y'all have done. It's, this is just beyond. It took a lot. It took a lot for me to get to this point that I could even speak right now. And I really love y'all, and thank you for everything. And hopefully, well, it's gonna happen. We're gonna get there. And um, uh, I love y'all. Thank you. Bye.
Zain,
Yes, sir.
my friend, you need to thank yourself, because without yourself, we are not here now. Yourself and the others make the right environment to us to grow, and you are included. So
Thank you.
you are already in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jalal. Jane, just be present. That's already the beauty, because knowledge seekers are present. I've seen Mr. Keshe popping up. Mr. Keshe, would you love to come and share some of your wisdom, please?
He's learning. He's learning.
I'm a student. I'm a knowledge seeker. I'm listening. It's interesting. I've been listening on and off because I go to different meetings. I'll come back when I get a few minutes. And what is interesting is what Rick just said, and the birds in the background. If you go back to some of the teaching of Dr. Gatwa, and we've seen in the farming, when they use the dynamic system of star formation in the garden, it did a lot of good for some plants to grow higher. Something which is interesting and may occur, some of you might not have occurred for some of you, is, do we create enough GANs that the sphere of it goes and covers all these tall buildings, like all the Sear towers and all these skyscrapers? Or is our GANs is not strong enough to reach that point? Because most of these bosses who make all these strategies for human race and mining and digging oils in the oceans, always, they, out of their pride, they have to be right on the top. And so we don't reach these guys on the top. Our ganses are not strong enough. And so when we leave one lot out, which are decision makers hiding on the top of these huge towers around the world, why don't we go on top of these buildings and plant a maghraf system up there? Because we learned from the Gatwa, it's got to be above that they can grow through. And on the other hand, when we tame some and the others are still above, then it shows us we need systems above tree lines on the mountain high, that it covers even the birds, that they can change too. So it means, would we change the position with some maghraf systems on the ground? Many people have made them, star formations, many people. By achieving a space flight at the human amino acid level, it's like a circus. The poles are down, the mat is on the floor, till you pull the top pole up and everything stands up, and then you have a circus, you cover everything. So does it mean that human race has to fly, be able to achieve the spaceship that runs with the what we call amino acid of the man, that then with those tents above, we put the tent of the circus of the change of the human race? Then if we can get many up in the sky, very much like satellites, then we cover the soul of the whole humanity, because that amino acid common denominator is in it. Maybe we live about 3 or 4 or 5 people in the space, what you call it, lab above us, but then we have the tent up. Then we have allowed the soul to grow, the way we've seen with the growth of the vegetation, with experiments in Africa and other places. This is the problem. We don't reach the guys on the top, but we reach the guys through their soul. But on the other hand, does it have a dimension? Somebody asked me some times ago, how did you know that there is so much problem on earth that you are here? I answered in a very simple way. There are those of human race who have come to the depth of the space, and they're like messengers, they bring it to us. They ask to stop these calamities on this planet. And we come and look. We come to see why. If human race things are the first lot ever going, this race is the first one going into space, you are far mistaken. On the ships of the past, we have had humans. I've said this before. And these are the ones who bring messages that there is time, there is a need, there is so much wrong in this planet. But on the other hand, does not go with one rotten apple, rot the whole of the universe. Is that we're trying to repair, but consciousness of the soul is the consciousness of the planet, and we're trying to make everything to become conscious. As I received a message this afternoon, oh, they're playing games, Caroline writes to me, they've changed their mind again, he's going for the conference. We'll go for the conference, we'll push, and our soul dominates. Syria will be the last war, they can push it. They are pushing it everywhere to start war. They can push, but as I said, if you remember 1970s and 80s and 60s, that upside down arrow, we called it the peace sign, with a circle around it, which was actually a sign of the rocket going nowhere. It didn't work. Marches didn't work because that was a physical march. Now, not only we have that physical march of the soul, but we have systems which can expand and change. As I always said, the ingredient was missing from it. And now we are putting it in. The amount of gases, I spoke very recently to some people, the number of factories we are putting around the world in coming half a decade, we are working around about 1,000 plants across this planet. We are getting everything for it around ready to go. And the first ones are on the run, the third and the fourth. And when the first 10, 20 runs by the end of this year, then the rest will just jump in. It's just mass production. Foundation has put a structure in to be able to do this. Blueprinting has become part of our work. So much gases in the environment will even touch the soul of the animals. Do they want to be here? Do us want to be here? We are looking in animal collective consciousness of, do they want to be? What have we done wrong to them that they don't want to be here anymore? Do we want to be here? Or are we going to put this tent up with many poles around this planet to cover the north, the south, the east, whatever, and change the human race and the course of this planet? And that's what it's about. Many of us fly. How many of us fly regularly and carry a GANS with us, a running GANS system? I was flying recently and I have a star formation in my suitcase, which is in the cargo. I was wondering, yes, at least I can cover this part. How many of us will be able to carry? They say you cannot carry more than 100 milliliter, but you can carry a dynamic system with 5 grams in it. They can't object to it. How many of us are going to carry these units in our pocket, calling the gases of peace, the dynamic system of peace, and just on the planes and go above the birds and change everything? And it's amazing when you touch somebody's soul, they see everything, the beauty of it. And this is part we have to learn. And now we are mixing it. The gases are getting mixed. The people are actually getting to understand how things work, how things can work, how things will work in the coming time. And we see a lot of changes. I see changes coming up every day, and I say, thanks God, we manage to reach so many people. And we never stop. It does not stop. It's a disease which has started, and it's a disease which the man has been looking for the cure for, and now they see it, they reach it, they understand it. And it's amazing how technology will change. And I look at it with a lot of sentimentality of maybe the man has matured, but we see it doesn't stop and will carry on. But we have to remember the animals above the tree line, they have to be changed too. Those in the depth of the sea has to be changed too. And there are people who provoke conflicts. We don't have time for them. Just raise their soul. And they can pedal as much as they like. We look at everything to our benefit, but you should look at it as what's benefit of humanity, or this planet, or the universe, as we extend more. As I said, is it worth sacrificing one not to damage the rest? And is it worth sacrificing this planet and literally wipe it out? Or spend time, energy, effort to change the ethos of it from the root of it? What about if you put satellites that just feed the man and the animal and the fish, and we drop sonar systems that covers the depth of the sea, that the sea, the fish at the bottom doesn't need to kill, the one in the middle doesn't need to eat anything, and the man on the top doesn't need to eat anything. Our problem is we think food is the line of existence, but it's energy. And now that we know it's energy, in all the teaching, we say no energy passes through the lung. I mean, no atom passes through the lung, oxygen, or no banana passes the skin of the intestine to go into the body. It's the energy which crosses. So why don't we go a step further and energize the whole planet, that everybody receives enough? And with it, they receive the elevation of the soul, and this eating system finishes. I was with some people this afternoon, and something strange came up. We're talking with at a different level of observation, and they were saying that we need so many hundreds, thousands of helicopters. Because in time of disaster, the problem now we see is having helicopters that we can reach people as fast as possible. 50, 100, 200 helicopter doesn't pay, so we need 10, 20,000 helicopters most probably to be able to reach every village very rapidly, that they can have food and medicine or whatever. And I said to myself, do these people know that the helicopters are obsolete? And second, do we need to be there to help, or can we put a satellite over the whole disaster area and let it cover itself and everybody has the food and the medicine at the same time? This is not a dream anymore. The data and the knowledge which is coming in can show us we can shine a star like a satellite, like a sun on this planet. That's all a single man can do. If the sun can reach us and give life to us, so our systems or our soul can do the same. Cover a patch of the land we call Earth, and in a time of disaster be there that everybody can take what they need from it. How many souls do we need to feed all the animals who displaced? All the souls are hungry, and medicine and the rest of it. Now we know we can do. Or do we get satellites and we just move a satellite in position and we release all the energy at different levels, that everything needed is received and done? Do we need helicopters, or do we need just a couple of? If you position it in the right position in altitude, you can cover the whole disaster area, which could be 100, 200 kilometers, like a peanuts. Medicine for antibiotics, medicine for repairing bones, food that gives the energy is not just the man, it's the cow, the sheep, the dog, the cat which lost its owners. Everybody gets fed. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm looking at systems which tells me we are getting there. We are not years away, we are days away. The systems which we are developing now is so comprehensive that our team are getting literally shocked what is to come in next coming time. So do we need to fly above the birds and the mountains and in the valleys of the oceans and just put one up, one down, and you cover everything in between? So you decide, we need to go on top of the Empire State and all the tall buildings on the board to put a maglev system on the top. Or shall we make a small one and call it a flight maglev piece unit and sell it in whatever shape or form to anybody to carry one? That collectively, 1,000, 10,000 of them in the air at any time can cover this planet. We become satellites. It's the truth, it's just a reality we have to face, and it's upon us. I see it, I see the development of new systems, new technologies which are coming up, that the change is on and the rest can pedal. It's now with what we are developing, stopping the wars is literally a game which can be done. Game of peace in no time. I was talking to Caroline last night and I was telling her, we can literally paralyze airports. We can paralyze ports. And any misconduct has a consequence of losing your line of operation. And it doesn't need to be done by Keshe Foundation. There will be governments soon which will enforce this. You're in child trafficking, you're losing planes, you lose your planes, they're grounded, we don't damage anything, just they never fly again, so no child will harm. You're in whatever trafficking, we can block, we can just freeze. Ports which brings sweatshops, works into a country, we just freeze the ships. It's now with this new technology, it's so easy to do things. And then you make people think, and that's all the job is, to think that they don't do and they don't carry on. Then you elevate the souls at the same time. But we got to learn, we got to understand there's a lot of work to be done. And at the same time, there's a lot of knowledge to be gained. And we look at it, it has to be done this way. But in fact, the way man has gone and done it is so wrong that it's made the whole universe cry for what's happening here. It's not correct, but mankind doesn't know any other, knows the sheep and the lion. But you can increase the GANs levels across and let's get to the highest levels like we've seen. And we can change. The change has to come in that it stays permanent, not just for a while. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the nice ideas, Mr. Keshe. It brings a lot of ideas if you're creative. I just posted some of in the chat. And you can purchase these for a very small amount. And there goes your ticket of dropping your star formations. As Mr. Keshe has reminded us a few teachings ago, to go near to the army bases, to go near and to go high up without having even to enter the buildings. Thank you very much for sharing, Mr. Keshe. And a lot of people are going to be traveling on boats. We can drop them in the sea. We can keep them on the boats. We can pack them in our suitcase.
There's another way that came to mind when Mr. Keshe was talking that is kind of funny, but actually could be very effective. if you think about these big skyscrapers and the people that inhabit them at the upper levels, let's say, it's pretty hard to reach those levels. In fact, there's only two ways that I know of, and one would be if you're a bird, for example, seagulls. Seagulls tend to fly around buildings. In fact, they can be quite a nuisance because they do their business on the buildings. So I'm thinking, well, what if these seagulls were fed GANS water, and then when they did their business on the buildings, that would actually be coating the buildings with GANS. Maybe that's a way that we encourage or enable the, in this case, the bird kingdom or animal kingdom, to partake in the spreading of the joy. And there's no building that's not susceptible to that. Pigeons, seagulls, you name it, all kinds of birds can all partake in that business, let's say. And that's one idea. The other idea that came to mind was the window washers that are washing all the windows of these skyscrapers. What if they incorporated special plasma GANS water for cleaning the windows that left a protective film that was better for heating and cooling of the building, and had all these other great properties. And you don't have to include that it also produces a peaceful environment, but could be a selling feature. But perhaps that's a way. I mean, what a great product, the plasma water cleaning fluid, for window washing fluid or whatever, for both vehicles and for the commercial people that actually do skyscrapers and so on. It'd be something to look into. Maybe that's a way that we could actually coat all of the buildings and vehicles of the world. Once news got out that this new plasma product had all these wonderful features, and the world's open to that now. There's things that you can spray a window with a clear coating now that is a solar panel. And this is the kind of technology. There's a lot of nanotechnology is coming out in regards to spray coatings and that kind of thing. So it's a natural if we could incorporate the special plasma spray coating of some sort. People could work on it in different ways and provide, actual lab results that show a difference and so on, and get that into the marketplace, have it become a common thing. Of course, I use the plasma spray coating. Why wouldn't I? It's so much more efficient, and everybody feels good in the office now too. I don't know why, but so maybe it's a way to get out the teaching in a subtle way.
Especially when you wash taxis. Taxi drivers can wash it. They carry their car everywhere.
Yeah.
Truckers, taxi drivers,
you do the windows
fire stations.
On the outside and the inside. That's the secret.
I am doing it from my part here.
I know. I fill up their spray tanks.
Yeah. There is also another idea. This Chinese balloon with this small fire beneath it?
Yeah.
What do you call it, this balloon?
I don't know. They launch them little lights and they let them go up.
Yes. If you add to this candle
hot air balloons.
Chinese lantern you're talking about though, right?
Yeah. The Latin, yes. If you put CO2 and zinc gas in it, and whatever is traveling, it's by the fiber of the two gases is surrounding everything there, up there.
It's also the season of the air balloons. Somebody,
once
yeah,
people will learn to use free plasma. How many we put empty balls into a CO2 kit, for instance, anchored with some pebbles? How about plasma balloons?
we can be so creative.
Speaking of creative, we have Estella with her hand up. Maybe she would like to add to this. Go ahead, Estella. You'll have to unmute. Maybe she's not able to unmute at this time. Well, we'll leave that open for you to speak when you can there, Estella. Back to you, Caroline.
I'm trying to see what is written in the Q&A. Dean Hansen.
I think that was previous, and he's already spoken. I think he figured that out.
Okay.
Not able to see the chat when he's.
No, I just saw two, and I thought maybe they were still hanging.
No, I believe that was resolved.
Especially when the summer is coming, we have a lot of avenues we can. That's a familiar sound.
And adding, Caroline, as Mr.
What?
Said,
can you come closer?
Yes, let me take this headphone.
Are you hearing me now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Yes. This new gas, what we are going to do, what we are putting to the Maghreb, we are using the same guns to this purpose. We don't use another guns, only this guns, which connected to the Maghreb, and it can serve its purpose because our intention is in it. One boat for peace.
Anybody else? More ideas? I think it will be nice if people which are about to travel to certain stress countries to carry it with them. Wherever I visit, there are usually fountains around. And I always leave some Gans water. Usually it's CO2 and zinc in the fountains, in the gardens, in the swimming pools. And it changes. It takes a few days and then you start hearing different noises, more noises, and it's usually animals. They start appearing more and more, and they're comfortable. They're not even shy. Topoli is even running in the garden, and they don't even mind. And he doesn't go near to them to bother them either, because he has the natural behavior of a terrier. So when there is a fast car or a bike passing, he goes, he shoots at it. Birds are also fast moving in the garden. He just doesn't even bother. So there is peace in the garden. It's the whole environment just changes. That's why I know that that oasis system gets created. The same as what happened with Tom Salas. But Mr. Keshe is right. We also have to go to higher grounds. So whoever is living in the mountains, if you go hiking this summer, it will be nice. Anyone, any more ideas?
Well, from YouTube, someone by the name of Angel H says, what if we all together expand our fields of love and peace to the entire planet, imagining our fields surrounding the planet and all the souls giving each one a great big hug? That was from Angel on YouTube chat. So that's a message from an angel. I guess that's pretty relevant. Perhaps part of the work that we could do in this group each week is have a special time to do like a brainstorming of ideas like this. And if people know it's a brainstorming time, then they might be more forthcoming in their ideas, as opposed to keeping it more on the, say, spiritual level or whatever. So it could be a time when we bring our physicality ideas, you might say, or the manifestations of the fields, how we can generate the fields with our ganzas or nano-materials, or our own physicalities, our own presence, all these different levels that we can work through. But in a brainstorming, we can maybe we could even list off different sort of activities that can be done.
That's a good idea. We had this with the music. How are you doing on the music level?
Oh, it's coming along. It's a bit slow, and we end up getting into metaphysical discussions about what is sound, what is music. what is plasma and what is the sound of plasma? What is the music of the universe? And we have to keep bringing it back to what is the music that we want to create for the Keshe Foundation, for some of the background music, for actual, products, or for videos and that kind of thing. And that requires actual tracks from people to give, to donate to the structure, so that we can put together these tracks to make little songs and intros and that kind of thing. So it's difficult to, for me anyway, some people would probably find it very easy, but for me to round up people and get them focused on that one physicality end result of an actual song is difficult when we got a whole universe of interesting things that are associated that our minds and souls tend to want to get into. As in this class, in a way, I mean, we could focus on, certain aspects, but this encompasses a lot of things in this class.
But is everything not based on a plasma field, which is an energy field? Like, let's say we have number 3, but number 2 is supporting number 3 as much as number 4 is supporting number 3 to be there in place. Why don't we look at things regarding to their energy field strength and play with the field strength of understanding? If it is sound or numbers, it's energetic. It has a field strength. What if we don't go into the full understanding of the plasma field, which is supporting, because nothing is standing on its own. It's always a range of field strengths which are supporting for it to stand in the matter state. It's when we are bringing it together that it's the same as with your soul and your body, that the rubbing of the soul and the physicality creates a voice that becomes, that you can hear it because it gets transformed into matter level, but it's still a field strength. It's just how you're tuning and playing with the energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I totally agree. And you can imagine having up to 30 people that also agree and are also talking the way that you are just talking. And all of us love to discuss things in that realm. But do you have a soundtrack you can contribute? That's what it comes down to. Eventually.
What if maybe I can send you on an extra excursion.
Uh-huh.
People have started listening to the plants and the flowers, and they are producing sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the kind of thing that we need to incorporate, because we don't want to have just the English utterances of the human population. We need to have sounds that are more instrumental, or from plants, animals, I don't know, people, scratching on things, whatever. All kinds of sounds can be incorporated into what we call music or song or background sounds, background music, and so on. And often it doesn't include English, because then we have to have other languages incorporated. We have songs we want to make that do that, but it also will include maybe dozens of other languages also in the same song, overlapping and so on, because English is too exclusive to be using just words in some of the songs, I think. So that's why we incorporate music as a medium for emotion, and it's all about transferring emotion through this music, through the song, through the
why don't you propose that if you're with 30 people, why don't you ask them to compose something which resonates with them? And then let them create something 2 minutes. And
Yeah,
then let
we've
them,
suggested that.
let
We've
them,
do that everybody has their own tones, and to try to experiment with making tones like a simple melody, just a few basic notes, and that to just work with it, to try to come up with your own melody basically. And then we can expand on that. We can use background drum track and so on and so forth to overlay a simple melody and to make it into something interesting. So, but it's hard to get people to actually do that and produce stuff. It's they have to have a microphone or have. We've experimented with a couple of applications that are real-time music applications and so on. There's different ways that you can interact, but it
I'm
takes
going to ask you
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question. How many people, because we are from different parts of the world here, how many people have noticed the same phenomenon appearing in the sky like we filmed in Italy? I have received one which has appeared in Iran, exactly the same size, more or less, exactly the same as we saw in Italy. Apparently, they are appearing around the globe. Has anyone spotted more of those big, huge UFOs which are hiding behind the sun?
I wish y'all could see the area around my ex-wife's property. Y'all would be amazed. Um, there's so many things around here. The angels, they're all with us. It almost seems as if there's a planet sitting right above my house. Well, her house. It's amazing. We're so loved.
If people could take short videos without sound, please, just silent, and maybe pass them on to Rick, so maybe we can have a look how many we can spot, because there are more and more and more appearing worldwide. I even saw something very strange. I shared it with Mr. Keshe last few days ago, and it was in Italy, and somebody noticed in the middle of the road it was raining in one spot, no clouds, nobody was messing around with any water. The cars were even trying to avoid, because to them it was, something abnormal. So they were trying to drive around the rain, and it was just dripping like, a nice, good rain, but in one spot, maybe 1 meter. And people start walking towards it while they were filming and putting their hands to catch the water. It was amazing. And they were all talking Italian because I understand Italian. And they say, miraculous is, something which they could not explain. So it would be nice if people pay attention to, especially where these, we call them UFOs, are appearing using the same shielding as the sun. They are making people more and more aware of their presence, which is beautiful. It's in a gentle way, but they are present. So don't be shy to tape it, but please don't add sound to it. And it would be nice for next week, if Rick can receive them by next week, to have a look in how many parts of the world we can spot them. Or what you start noticing in your own surroundings of changes. And you're right, Rick, if people can come and share like a think tank moment, and we give them time, maybe we'll learn a lot from one another, because it's all inspiring ideas. Or people can come and start sharing where they have released the star formations. If they've been to, let's say, where the air balloon festivals are, how many they have been managed or have managed to put them on board of the air balloons, or inform us where you took, that we can have a kind of a vision of the tracking of the magraphs or star formation or Gans waters. Don't be shy, come and share with us.
Yes, and perhaps if people are out there looking for miracles and they happen to have their iPhone or other device handy, they can record such minor miracles, and again, you know, it'd be something fun to present in this kind of presentation here. Sometimes if you look for miracles, then they seem to appear, and that's kind of it's a fun way to go through life, at least for a day or two.
Mr. Keshe, are you still there? I would like to ask you a question. Hello, Mehran. Mr. Keshe? It can wait. Maybe it will be for later. Maybe we can ask it on Thursday morning. Mm-hmm. If Mr. Keshe reappears today, we can ask. It's about the curiosity of people, how to interact when people notice they are among us. There are a lot among us already, more than anyone can even imagine. And if you become more and more aware, you will sense those people. And that's how slowly, slowly we will start becoming that those different of field strength will start becoming more, or we are going towards their higher field strength. And that will be nice. Anybody wants to share some think tank good ideas? Nobody? Are we going to stay calm and quiet today? Come on.
Miss Caroline. Miss Caroline?
Yes.
I have something I would like to bring up and maybe ask. Okay, in the area that I'm in, okay, the environment is amazing. I mean, truly amazing. Whenever I close my eyes, I'm in touch with another realm. Well, actually, it's just the world above us, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing. I mean, there's heaven on earth, and I can't believe that people are walking around and they don't even know that it's here, that it even exists. But um, there's I have these entities, which they're serpent like, and they're amazing. Okay, they I can pet them. They rub on me. They love me, and I love them. They're amazing. I look into their eyes, and they take me to other dimensions. And but they have these spiders crawling all over them. There's other things crawling on them, and I don't, they're in here. I feel them. My sensory perception is completely changed. I'm completely altered due to the technology. I love this. I mean, we are stepping into a world that is just completely amazing. It's I can't wait till other people start witnessing or experiencing it, and then it's gonna be like a snowball effect. But until we get to that point, there's some issues that need to be dealt with, and I'm not necessarily sure if they're asking me for assistance in order to take care of the things that are on them because they're agitating them, but I'm not absolutely sure if even if that's the case, because maybe there's a wall that I'm not I haven't experienced to the myself. Maybe there's something that I have to get past in order for me to be able to see beyond this point, and that they're trying to show me something in order for me to recognize it. But I'm not. There's a whole bunch of it that I'm not too. I'm trying to figure it all out, but um, maybe you can give me an idea, or maybe something that I can put forth. I know I hooked up I fixed the unit that I've had, and I had unfortunate event occur, which was pretty fortunate because it gave me time to reflect and then understand a lot more things, slow down, and realize a whole bunch of stuff about myself, everything else, and which was great. But now that we're back into the motion and we're moving and things are the way that they are, the environment here is I'm not necessarily sure what to do or the next step in order um, to solve the problem that is occurring right here, because uh, they, they 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 seem to be uh, concerned. I would say that, but I'm not sure if it's for me or for us or for them. But maybe you can help me, or you have an idea or something.
No, darling, I don't. I don't, because if the message is not clear, that they're showing something that you need to be aware of, or that you need to be aware there is a problem there. It's going to have to be more precise, because on guesswork is not so good to work on. But you can ask them. If you're clear in what you wish to know, maybe they find a different way if you don't understand with what is getting projected. Be patient with yourself. When the time is right, you will understand.
Yes,
Never be
ma'am.
impatient with yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You could try. Don't be nervous, just be calm. And this is something Dr. Klaus can explain better if he's still here. Dr. Klaus, are you still here?
Don't see him on the list there now.
Ah, he's dropped out. He might be in another meeting. He always explains, ask your soul to connect with their soul with simply the wish for it to be understood. Because when you are functioning in that level, the barriers are not there, because then you go from soul to soul. And then it will slowly show itself where you're going to find the path of understanding. If, let's say, if I don't understand something, I can only ask my soul to guide me for then that field strength to come towards me by situations, or I'm going to bump in, and then I suddenly see, oh, that's my answer, which I couldn't understand for, let's say, maybe for years already. But because simply I never asked for it, for help, or the correct way for understanding, it cannot come towards you. You got to have that intent of, but by asking. Ask and thou shalt be given. And it's there. You know, it's the same thing as what I explained. I don't know if it was in public or it was in my private teaching. I think it was last week. I said, if you got testing machines to test animals, bacteria, whatever living thing is, you can have all the testing products, let's say like in a lab space, imagine. And as long as you're fantasizing, and I'm going to do this, and I can do that, and I can do that, and you can have the most toxic and deadly tools and chemicals in your lab to do those kind of tests. But the animals, nor the plants, nor the bacteria, nor on any of the living things will move. You will find no reading, unless the reading they are giving you, but it will be a stable reading. You can sit on your desk, you can write all the notes down, what you're planning to do. They won't move. But the minute you move, let's say you have made the decision, which is your intent, then you will see the alarms going off. So nothing can move to give you an answer on your path unless it's your true intent. And when you have this, and there is a very nice story about this, and it's about a family with rabbits, and they live, you know, in those big flat lands where they grow weed and grass. And there's a big family with mama and a lot of babies and a papa and a grandfather and grandmother, you know, rabbit family, quite large. And there are a lot of families living there under the ground, just under the surface. And they play in the grass, and one communicates with the other, and they come with the news, you know, the farmer is talking, we're going to have to move, The farmer is talking this and that and that. And the papa says, no, we're not moving. And everybody, no, it's fine, don't worry. And this goes for a couple of days, you know, they keep on coming back with this kind of news. And Papa just stays calm, he doesn't move, no panic. And then suddenly out of nowhere, the message comes in that the farmer has decided to take the tractor and to cut the grass himself. And Papa says, now we move, because now it's time. You understand, the story is your decision has to be that you know what you request. And you got to request for it to be given. The door cannot open if you don't ask. You cannot receive if you don't ask. And then the event starts coming. We call it synchronizing, because your soul will move you in the direction and the path for you to receive what you need or you want to know. And then you will understand, and most probably in a few times you will come back and say, I got the answer. And I can share it with all of you. And that will be beautiful. Maybe you haven't asked the right question. Work through the soul, and the soul opens the doors for you when you request.
Or maybe you have the answer, but you forget the question. Sometimes it's so.
Jalal.
Yeah, it's happening, you know. You have so many questions and so many wishes, and
in that way, yes. You start with one at a time. Otherwise, exactly, yeah, you can forget, because then it gets too confusing. Go one at a time, especially when they're big.
You know what I'm doing in these days? When I'm going to teach, for example, tomorrow, I ask today what I'm going to teach tomorrow, and it pop up in the night or tomorrow morning. So quick. So I remember what I asked, and I see what I'm asking for.
Now, if you go one stage further, Jalal, don't ask and don't think. Just do it. Your soul will be there to give it.
We are in learning process.
Topoli. Shh. You're making too much noise, Papa. Shh. They are so intelligent. They are so intelligent. They are amazing.
Love you, Tupperly.
He is amazing. And he talks. It's very loud, but he talks. And if you don't listen, he finds a way to make sure he got your attention. He came up with a new solution he's doing it for 2 weeks now. If he's yeah.
Also having the car unit, you like driving everywhere. You like, if you put the intention of, you know, with your soul, transfer the peace and drive everywhere, bring in the flows of, that's another way also to spread the plasma.
Yes, that is, Stella. We're talking about Topoly right now, though.
Well, that's another idea.
Yep, thank you.
He found a new way to talk to me. I got those metal inox bits, like for throwing bits of paper in, and he comes and he barks at me first. And if I ignore him, I say, you know, you have to be quiet. You're making too much noise. He just walks off, and then suddenly you hear, you know, like tapping against metal. He starts tapping his paw against the metal. It's like an aluminium half drum, small size. He starts tapping his paw on it until I get fed up, because it's a very annoying noise. And then I look at him, and then he keeps on tapping the bin. And at first I didn't understand, but he gets those sticks to chew. He loves them. And then I put the paper in the bin. So he tumbled the bin over, and he just drags the wrapper of that sausage out of the bin, meaning that's what I want to eat. I want it now. So he did. It took him 2 or 3 times to show me before I realized. At the beginning, I got so fed up, he just kept on knocking that bin, that I put the bin on top of the counter, out of the way. And then he starts barking nonstop. And I thought, what do you want? What are you telling me, Baba? And then he runs me into the kitchen next to where his food pot is. And then I realized, oh, he's hungry. So now he doesn't even bark anymore, doesn't come to me anymore. He just starts tapping the bin on the other side of the house, meaning it's dinner time or I need to have something to eat.
Who is training who in this program?
My God, that's exactly what Mr. Keshe says.
Well,
he runs the house, not you.
From the dog's point of view, he's thinking, these humans are so slow. What's wrong with them? I'm trying to tell her what I want, and she's not getting it. I mean, I do it over and over, and you know, and think how frustrating it must be when your hearing is so much better than the humans. You always hear the people that are coming to the door before the humans do, and you know, you have to bark and let them know because they're too slow to pick up on it. And you're hearing everything going on in the street and all the other animals in the neighborhood and everything else. And the humans don't seem to be ignoring all that, you know. And not only is your hearing better, your sense of smell is way, way better. So you're getting all the smells from the things on the street and in the house and from everybody and so on. And your sense of taste is much stronger, and you know, you're faster in your physicality than the humans are, and you know, much stronger in many ways. Teeth are sharper, and they've got a lot of advantages, and not to mention the humans take care of them. So I'm wondering, who is the more involved beings in this situation sometimes? It's
he trained me in 2 weeks. Don't worry.
He trained you in 2 seconds as soon as you saw his eyes, I bet you.
No, it took me 2 weeks to get the full understanding of what the heck, why he was bothering me so bad.
Oh, I meant more when you first saw him when he was a baby, or however you got him.
Oh, God, don't go there, Rick.
You looked into his eyes and that was it. You knew you were.
Actually, no, it went in a different way. He still does it. When we picked him up, and he did it with all 3 of us. You know, when you hold a puppy and then you let it to lean towards you. We all 3 had the feeling like he was sinking in us. You know, he was putting pressure to come as close to us as possible, like, take me with you. I don't want to be here. I want to go with you. But that time he was too small. We couldn't take him. So we went to visit him once or twice a week for 3 weeks before we could take him away from the mom. He literally, he was sinking. He became part of us. That's how he got us. Not the looks, not the cry, or not the way he was. It was that feeling. You know, he just crawls under your skin, as you say. It was amazing how he was doing it with all three of us. And he still does it. He comes and he sits on my lap, and then he leans towards me upwards, and it's like he goes in me.
Right. I was just going to say, in terms of fields, that's what we talk about here. And his fields were reaching out and interacted with your fields. It was not a physicality thing as such. It's the, you know, it may have been manifest in the physicality somewhat, but you were saying several times that he reached inside you. It was not on your skin. It was not a, you know, feeling of pressure on your skin, and therefore, you know, that he was trying to get close to you that way. It was the fields interacting that seemed to be the important factor there.
Oh, we got an expression when somebody is very close. Couples which are usually in love with one another, especially, you know, those first love. It's like when you bring them together, it's like they melt to one, that they are so close. We usually give it the name, they crawl under your skin. Sometimes they use it negative, sometimes they use it positive, but they become literally one with you, which is the field strength, yeah. And it's an amazing feeling. And he still does it. He still does it. He wants to be close. Not so much anymore as when he was a baby, but it's like he melts with you. It's a very amazing feeling. And that he was doing when he was only 3 weeks old. And that's why he's so close with us, and he does not want to be separated from us. But we embraced him as well as part of the family. He's a family member. I don't always understand fully his language, as I just explained. But this was a nice journey to learn. He taps on the bin. Now I know it's feeding time, or extra feeding time, because he already was fed today. Amazing boy. He has a lot of gifts. Yes, Topoli, I know.
Well, Caroline, I'm wondering if we should maybe wrap things up for today here.
Yep.
Right,
yes, I think it's time. We have a full
hours.
circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got a huge job ahead of us. By next week, please let all your media channels and connection buzzing with good ideas and the purpose to serve with the knowledge. I thank you, Rick. I thank you, team. I thank the knowledge seekers for your beautiful presence.
And we thank Mr. Keshe for a special guest appearance today as well. Okay, well, let's wrap it up then for the 40th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. As always, thank you everybody for attending, and we'll see you next week at the same time and place, as well as with the Knowledge Seekers Workshop on Thursday mornings. And there's also the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group that I'll be hosting on Wednesday, 7 a.m. Central European Time. Okay, I think that's it. And I believe Flint's going to play a video or two for us to go out with. And that's it for today.
Hello.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Plasma products now available at store.keshefoundation.org. Plasma liquid hand soap, antiseptic, moisturizing for well-being. One Soul Plasma T-shirt, balanced chakras with ancient and plasma technology. Visit store.keshefoundation.org for these and other plasma products.
The process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time, I explained more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe, some energies, some dynamic fields have come together. Over billions of years, these fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together. The same process repeats again because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in this span of the universe, we call the sun, that irradiates out, does the same thing again. Radiates its fields out, and in interaction with the itself, with the fields of itself, leads to creation of planet. In that process of the creation of planet, the same process happens again. In the interaction of the fields of the earth with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to another sun. We call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. But if the soul of the man can understand and absorb and be correct with his conduct, he can become the strength of the fields and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to his creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, he shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from and goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life, the process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter on what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became man's soul, what would be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality. Would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself cannot give, you lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. In the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that man, what that soul will create. If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall create. Man never understood and shall never understand till can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they'll be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider what life shall my soul create, because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 billion children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-matter state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet. And the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of a new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts at the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts, specks of dust came together to make the earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust on the solar system has led to the creation of man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by his soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today you were not aware of it. From today you are aware of it. You are responsible for it. Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the citizens. We don't give a fairy tale. This is the truth. But as you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have less, they have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar systems of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that you can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth. And the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is an operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes his point of reference of his own creation, of his own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.